السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Sir, are you on mobile or laptop?
On laptop.
Wi-Fi network is bit poor.
Oh, okay. Maybe. So let me 1 second. I changed the connection. How about this one I'm using? Hello?
Sir,
Yeah.
no.
Okay.
Are you ready, sir?
Yes, I'm ready.
Right, sir.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وبه نستعين على أمور الدنيا والدين. صلى الله تعالى وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وارزقنا فهما. And welcome back again to our program, My American Jihad, with me, Imam Shamsi Ali. In today's episode, I would like to continue. In today's episode, I would like to mention the last two main characteristics of moderation in Islam. We mentioned around 5, and that is justice, balance. It is about Islah or righteousness. It is about Shura. It is about Al-Qudwa. That being moderate means being a role model, a good example for our neighbors in our society. As Rasulullah SAW had been the role model for this ummah. And the last characteristic that we are going to talk today is about something that oftentimes people are making it as a contradictive issue. In other words, that looks like when we are becoming a committed Muslim, a better Muslim, then we have to become a threat, someone who is dangerous to our nation or our country. I think this point is very much important to be underlined, that this is absolutely not true. a saying, a very popular saying among the Muslims, which is distributed or related to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, says, حب الوطن من الإيمان. Loving the country is a part of our faith. And of course, even there's a discussion surrounding this hadith, either it is authentic or not. The substance of hadith itself is very much founded in the teaching of Al-Islam. And Allah says in the Quran, يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى. ومن كان we created you from a male and a female. وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل. And we have made you into nations and tribes. Now the mention of nations here, of course, in the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it was not about nation state that we understand or we know at that moment, at this time. It is about the inclination of ours into our own group. And that is a natural part of human's life. For those who are Europeans, they feel good and more comfortable with the Europeans. And it's the nature. Those who are Africans, they feel good with their own fellow Africans. Those who are Indians, they feel good with their fellow Indians. Similarly, these days, when you come to the issue of nation, it is a part of our human nature that we have become any nation that we live in. And for Muslims to understand that preserving our faith is also preserving our own nation where we live in. And therefore, the characteristic of being moderate in Islam is called al-qudwa, al-muwatana, and that is incline into connection to our own national backgrounds. This is a very fundamental and important point for us to underline, because there is a notion, there is a perception, and people are trying to build different perception about Muslims and Islam. But one of the perceptions that's being built at the moment, that apparently Muslims, when they are becoming better in their Islam, they are becoming less in their commitment and loyalty to their nations. And of course, this is very dangerous, because in many ways, Muslims are a kind of, against his own nationality, his own nation, his own country, which is not necessarily true. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he was forced to leave Mecca to go to Medina al-Munawwara, and upon his leaving Mecca, he turned his face back to Makkah al-Mukarramah. He faced the city back, and he said this, that I love you. Prophet Muhammad loved the city of Mecca, because this is his birthplace. This is the place where he lived. And for Muslim, wherever you live, in any nation, in any country, that it is a part of your responsibility to preserve and protect that country. That is our civic, but also religious responsibility. So let me say this very clearly, that for Muslim Americans to become a good Muslim does not necessarily mean to become bad citizen or American, or vice versa. To become a good American or better American, a good citizen, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to become a bad Muslim, because both are going hand in hand. Figure Council of America, which is the jurisprudence organization under Islamic Society of North America, concluded that the United States Constitution and the purpose of Sharia, which is called أهداف الشريعة, the goals of Sharia, are in line. Because the goals of Sharia are protecting 5 things. Protecting human's life, and that is حفظ الحياة. Protecting human's religion, that is حفظ الدين. Protecting our dignity and honor, and that is العزة والكرامة. Protecting property and الملكية, and certainly protecting our intellect. This, these are the أهداف الشريعة, the purpose of Sharia in Islam. And when it comes to the American Constitution, all these are being protected. You have justice for all. You have tolerance. You have um, all these beautiful values that the American people are so proud of that we have in our Constitution. And therefore, it is concluded by the Fiqh Council of America that Sharia and the constitutions are hand in hand, go hand in hand. There is no such paradoxical here that we have to accuse of. So again, it is very important to understand that Islam is not here to threat our loyalty and our love for our own nation. It is our responsibility. And Alhamdulillah, Muslim Americans have played an important role in making America stronger. As there is a slogan that people have made called "Make America Great Again." That is great. And one of the reasons why America is greater and great because Muslims have played an important part in the process. You can imagine more than 1,000 Muslim officers within the NYPD, for example. 1,300, more than 1,300 Muslim officers within the New York Police Department. You can imagine how many Muslim teachers in the public school system. Almost 15% of students in the New York City public schools are Muslims. And therefore, Alhamdulillah, by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we're able to convince the city that school must be closed during Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. Muslims are opening their businesses, middle-class businesses, groceries, everywhere. Muslims are opening restaurants. Muslims are building masajid communities in everywhere. And one thing we have to make sure that everywhere you find a masjid, inshallah, you will find that particular area relatively safer. So this is a part of our contribution. Muslims are politicians. Muslims are congressmen, congresswomen. Muslims are mayors. Muslims are city council people. All these are part of Muslim contribution to this nation. It's a part of our moderate stand to our own country. So against al-muwatana. Al-muwatana means nationality. It's a part of that fundamental characteristics of being moderate Muslims. So we don't have to be fooled by anyone, either from within the nation or from outside of the country, who said that in order for you to be a good Muslim, be bad American, or otherwise, in order for you to be a good American, you had to be bad Muslim. So we don't have to praise ourselves being a good American by drinking, for example, because Alhamdulillah, we understand American by contributing to this great nation. And that is the meaning of al-muwatana, as a part of that moderate characteristic of al-Islam. These are 7 characteristics, once again, of moderation in Islam. So let me repeat. One is al-i'tidal, and that is a commitment to be just and a commitment to fight for justice. You cannot be considered moderate unless you are able to fight for justice. If you see oppressions and you are انصر أخاك ظالما أو مظلوما انصر أخاك ظالما أو مظلوما. Help your brother, either they oppress us by the Sahaba. How would I help my brothers who are oppressing others? He said, take his hand so that he's stopping from oppressing others. So justice, al-i'tidal al-adala, is very important as a part of our moderation. The next one is tawazun, balance. Being balanced in every single aspect of life. And the next one is samha, and that is tolerance. That Islam is not forced to anybody. Religious freedom is highly respected in Islam. respecting the right for our brothers and sisters who don't belong to our faith tradition, they are not Muslim, to practice their faith. This is our responsibility. من آذى ذميا فأنا خصمه يوم القيامة. Whoever insults a non-Muslim within the majority Muslim society, the Prophet Muhammad said, I will be his enemy in the day of judgment. And then assure the importance of consultation in any public affairs. And that's why democracy in our understanding is very, very important. And the next one, number 6, is al-qudwa, the importance of being role model to our society, part of the nation where we live in. And therefore, we advise our American brothers and sisters, as we are entering into an election season. Presidential election is coming in November. Many other elections are taking part in these coming days. As a part of our al-Muwatan, as a part of our moderate stand, we must take part in that process. Because what happened is sometimes Muslims are complaining and complaining and complaining and feel bad, even angry sometimes. When someone is elected to a public position, which is undesirable, because he might be a racist, he might be anti-Muslim or Islamophobic. But the question is, have we done our responsibility by taking part in the election? There are over 7, 8, maybe 10 million Muslims in the United States. Those who are eligible to vote. And if these millions of Muslims are taking part in the election, I'm sure we can take part in to decide who is going to be the leader of this country. But this once again, is about our responsibility. Are we taking this very seriously as a part of that al-Muwatan responsibility, as a part of our national responsibility, as a part of our religious responsibility at the same time? And so I encourage everyone, Muslim brothers and sisters, if you are eligible to vote, you're a citizen of this country, then you have to register and then vote during the election day, so that we can make sure that the one who is sitting in the leadership position of this nation or this state or this city are the people who can represent our interests, not against us. Not someone who is divisive, not someone who is leading a portion of the nation and present himself as someone who is against his own people. We need someone who can be the leader of every American. And Muslims must take a part in that process. So once again, moderation had been and still and will remain forever the most important characteristic of al-Islam. Al-Wasatiyah. وكذلك جعلناكم أمة وسطا لتكونوا شهداء على الناس ويكون الرسول عليكم شهيدا. And therefore we have made you as a ummatan wasata, a moderate middle path, justly balanced nation, so that people can witness. You can be witness to people. People can watch you, what you are doing, because we are in the middle of the path. People on the right can see what we do. People on the left can see what we do, because we are middle path nation. And that is al-wasatiyah, moderation in Islam. And we must struggle, continue struggle, telling our neighbors, convincing our friends that don't ever again think that Islam is radical. Islam is extreme. And Muslims are radicals and extremists. If any Muslims are radicals, if any Muslims are extremists, they fail to represent the real face and the real nature of our religion. And that is our responsibility, once again, to make sure that everyone understands that Islam is a moderate teaching, and this is our American Jihad. May Allah guide us all, strengthen us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.